It's the Coach's Insight with Coach Tim Kaine from Murray State University. Tim, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Richie?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I want to talk about player development as well as personal development of players off the floor with you. Can we handle that?
I think we can handle that. Let's go.
Let's do it. I mean, I've been, obviously, a lot of people know about you. You've been a part of a lot of successful programs. You've been on a lot of championship teams. Tell me, over the last 16 years of coaching, what's the differences in the players between when you started coaching and now?
From when I started coaching, which happened to be a GA with you, I can't say the school's name, but we were GAs together a few years ago, about 16 years ago. The players then kind of knew how to work on their own as much as they did with the coaches. And I think the biggest difference is today, guys don't know how to work at a high rate level and how to really get after it without a coach in the building. I think part of that, is when they're younger, all these kids have trainers or a specialty coach that really works them out a whole lot, and they don't know how to do it themselves nowadays.
It's kind of like the old why versus how, isn't it?
It is. The players my age and your age, we won't say our age, but was the why. Why would we do this? And now it's how do we do this? They have the question why, and I think one thing, especially the younger coaches I've worked for, head coaches, do a really good job explaining why, because they know you have to for these kids to buy into it, but it's the how. And teaching these young guys, what it takes and how to do it. And I mean, whether it's a simple micing drill or, whatever it is, a shooting drill, they want to know how to do it. And to do it, they want to know at all times how to do it as well.
We got to teach the millennials, I guess. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, we do. It's part of our job as coaches. And it's, everyone wants to talk about it's the kids these days. It's the kids these days. But actually, it's the adults these days and how they teach them. And that's why the way these kids are nowadays.
What about film usage? You feel like film usage plays a big part with player development?
Oh, I think it's a huge part of it. We do a really good job on our staff of bringing guys in. And, it's easier when you have, things like Synergy, which we use. After a game, you can bring in a guy and show him all his shots, show him all his defensive possessions, do all those things that even if you're not at the highest level staff where you don't have a film guy to cut everything up for you, you can use Synergy to your advantage. And I think, especially a lot of programs I talk to guys at the Division III, Division II level, they use it as well.
Definitely helps the smaller staffs. But let's talk about you. What does Tim Kaine do to interact with kids from this generation?
The biggest thing is you got to get to know them. And you got to be open to them, and they got to feel like they can talk to you, and you got to be a really good listener. I think too many times as coaches, and you've been to Final Fours and every, other things for coaches. Coaches like to talk. We love to, and that's not a bad thing, but especially with these young kids, you really need to listen to them and get to know them on a personal level. Then you can start to develop them as players. But the biggest thing is develop them as people and getting to know these guys.
I always thought you were really good at relating to the kids. And so I've always been curious, like how much of developing players in your mind is psychological?
It's huge psychological. I think that plays a gigantic part in this whole deal. I've taken an interest in that. And when young guys ask me, to become coaches, what should they do? Especially at the Final Four with the rising coaches and all that stuff, they'll ask me, I say, you need to be a psychology minor at the worst. And I really wish I would have done a psychology minor. But, I've met with a lot of whether schools I'm at. If we have a sports psychologist, I try to meet with them and just pick their brain on things that, I can do to help our student athletes.
Well, how much of the psychology of developing players is going to help you get a head coaching job? No doubt you're a future head coach.
I have no idea on that. The one thing is, and everyone that is in this business, man, you work as hard as you can. You can't, as we always talk about here, control the controllables. And, I can control how hard I work, the effort, the time I put into these players. And that, at the end of the day, that's the best part of this whole business. As you've been a coach and you see these guys when they become fathers, when they become husbands, and they come back and they talk to you, and you can see you actually made a change in their lives.
I think that's the most rewarding part for sure. So, you the man. Appreciate you coming on, Tim.
All right. Appreciate it, Richie.